The Revolution began with the battles of Lexington and Concord, but it wasn't for another year would total independence become the colonists' main objective. Following the publication of Thomas Paine's Common Sense, the Founding Fathers made a decision to leave Britain and declare independence.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yo, TJ, just get on with it. Yo, sign.
Fine.
We're all gonna die.
Following the signing of the Declaration, the fledgling U.S. was desperate for allies, so they naturally contacted Britain's longtime rival France. However, first, France needed a sign that the rebels could actually win against Britain. 1777, the Battle of Saratoga.
You're surrounded! Surrender when you have a chance!
Never! Long live the king! Never mind. I surrender here at Saratoga. America!
General Cornwallis's surrender would signal the end of the war and the opening of peace negotiations between the United States and the United Kingdom. After the signing of the treaty in Paris in 1783, the United States was officially recognized by the UK as an independent nation. The next issues for the U.S. would be in deciding what kind of country they would be, a debate that had already begun in the creation of the Articles of Confederation from 1777 to 1781.
Hey Tom, look what I wrote up. Central government.
I quite like this. Virginia passes it immediately.
Okay, so Maryland finally signed the Articles of Confederation.
Took them long enough. That was like, what, 4 years?
I reckon so.
The American victory at Saratoga and the subsequent French entry into the war were important turning points in this conflict. Soon after, Spain, the Netherlands, and some German states would help turn the tide against the British. This would culminate at the Battle of Yorktown, where the French Navy would prove to be a deciding factor in 1781.
Where are my reinforcements? We've cut you off by sea! We've cut you off by land! Gosh dang it!
The reasoning behind the Articles made sense at the time, as the Founding Fathers were hesitant to adopt a strong central government anywhere close to the one that they were rebelling against. However, once the rebellion was over, those limited government ideals would be put to the test as an uprising against the U.S. occurred in Massachusetts in 1786, Shays' Rebellion.
What a great day! Very warm. I love my farm.
Yo! Have you heard about the taxing?
What taxing?
They're taxing our goods! I can't do that! Let's fight for our rights! Yeah!
Shays' Rebellion revealed just how powerless the federal government was, a fact proved due to the necessity of a state militia putting the rebellion down. Seeing the absolute need to reform, a constitutional convention was called to put an end to the matter. 1787 Constitutional Convention.
Okay, so for this constitution, I say we have 2 houses for Congress with equal representation for all the states. What do we say?
Most definitely not. I think we should have one house based on population.
Well, thankfully your opinion does not matter. So what else?
Well,
what else
guess
do we
what?
say?
You're short, so you stay down there.
No one's even ever heard of you.
Okay, no.
So you know what?
I don't
Shut
understand
up.
why you're-
All right.
No, you're being
Madison,
dumb.
No,
No,
Madison,
no.
shut
Oh,
up.
What is going on here? You know what? Why don't we have one house with equal representation and one house with a populist vote?
I can agree on that. How about you?
Okay. I like it. Alright,
Oh boy, that was a great convention. Time to go home to my plantation.
Please, we need someone, please.
The ratification of the Constitution threw another issue at the early U.S. Who would lead the new nation? Well, this would be answered easily, as the first presidential election was basically a grassroots effort to get George Washington to accept the job. Eventually, Washington relented and accepted. 1789, George Washington's inauguration.
I would like to thank you all for electing me to be your president. I don't really know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it anyways.
Mr. President, we have a bit of a situation. France has erupted into a bloody revolution. I feel like we should help them since, they helped us.
The U.S. will be an isolationist nation.
The new government that would be tested by yet another revolt, Washington himself would lead the effort to suppress the rebels. 1791 to 1794, the Whiskey Rebellion.
Y'all know what they're doing now? They're taxing our whiskey! Are we gonna stand for that? No! Let's fight! Troops, suppress the farmers! Ah!
Following the relative peace and unity of his two terms, Washington declined a third term. In the 1796 election, John Adams would triumph over Thomas Jefferson. Adams' presidency would be caught in controversy after signing the Alien and Sedition Acts, so much so Jefferson and Madison would publicly criticize them. 1798, Virginia-Kentucky Resolution.
Okay, Madison, Adams is crazy. These new acts are completely unconstitutional. What do you say?
I say states have the right to nullify a law if it's unconstitutional.
Oh, right. Do you want to go behind his back and write some resolutions about these?
Let's do it.
The Alien and Sedition Acts would contribute to growing criticism of the Federalists. Opposition to Adams and the Federalist Party's actions would lead to Jefferson defeating Adams in the 1800 election.
Here's the new president of the United States. This guy.
Thank you, Adams. So, as the new president, we're going to make some changes around here. So, that whole federal government stepping in to everyone, that's no longer being a thing, Adams. So, we're going to give state rights to the states, and we're going to, purchase all of Louisiana. Who knows what's going on over there? We kind of like that.
My only question is, why does George Washington have a red coat? This ain't red. It's blue. Not colorblind.